It's very hard for any new parent to decide where to send their child to school. And I'm not really talking about school-age children, I'm talking about early childhood. A lot of parents, especially new parents, aren't sure exactly what they're looking for when choosing a quality program for their child. The options might also be limited in your area depending on where you're located. But I know in most big cities, you'll hear things such as Montessori, Waldorf, Reggio-Emilia, and you might hear things like play-based program or nature-based program and things like that. Most importantly, always check that the quality program or the program that you're looking for meets state standards and that it is accredited. And then after that, search for a philosophy that fits your needs and what you're looking for. When I tell people that my children go to a play-based program, I usually get asked the question, well, what are they learning? And that always kind of makes me laugh because I think, well, they're not really learning anything. And in fact, I don't want them to be learning anything at this point. They're learning naturally through the play, but they're not coming home telling me about colors and numbers and shapes and patterns and things like that because they don't need to at this age. Before a child is about 5 to even 7 years old, the most important thing is brain development. And so when you're choosing a program, try to avoid programs that talk about having a curriculum and talk about how they quote unquote teach the children. Search for a program that focuses on brain development over content development. Because the way that the child's brain works in these early stages is they are these huge sponges. So infants are born with more neurons in their brain than there are galaxies, than there are stars in the galaxy. Okay, that's kind of a saying that a lot of child development specialists will talk about. And then as they grow a little bit older, if those neurons are not fired and rewired and ignited, or they're not experiencing things, they kind of start to prune away and kind of die off. And so what we want to do is really utilize this time and really focus on developing the brain and strengthening the brain so that as they get older, they're more able to soak up the content and learn when they're a more appropriate age. And a play-based program provides rich sensory experiences and processes through play that develop the brain so that it is prepared for learning later on in life when it's more appropriate. Also nature. A nature-based program is really great because nature is kind of the third teacher. So the play is one of the teachers. There's also a guide or a mentor in the classroom, which is a teacher, and the nature can be a third teacher. They are having all of their senses ignited through nature, through the sights, the smells, the feels, even the taste, in a program that invites nature into the classroom through the materials that they use or spends most of their day outside in nature is a program that understands that for early childhood, nature is the third teacher. So I always look for a play-based program. If you also think about a classroom full of kids, picture a group of 3-year-olds and they're all sitting on the floor in a circle, and the teacher brings up a card, and on the card there's a picture of a pig, and she says this is a pig. The pig says oink, it's pink, and it has a curly tail. All that child has learned is the pig, oink, curly tail, right? That part of their brain has been activated. However, picture a child outside and the teacher or the school brings in a pig. The child is outdoors, they're smelling the pig, they're getting to pat the pig, they're watching the pig roll around and play, they're listening to a sound, which by the way is not an oink, it's more of a grunt or a snort, very heavy. They're watching the pig eat, they're hearing all of its sloppy sounds and things like that. Think of all of the parts of the brain that are activated during that experience rather than sitting on the floor and being told about the pig. The experience is really the educator at this point, and a play-based program understands that. So you can look for a program such as a Waldorf or Reggio-Emilia or a school that describes themselves as a play-based program. I'm not a huge advocate of Montessori. I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with Montessori. It's just not something that I typically recommend for people. I think that sometimes Montessori programs can be a little bit rigid. They have a lot of good ideas in theory, but sometimes the execution of those things, depending on the program, can come off more as kind of tough love and can lead to more frustration for the children. But a play-based program is typically all about play and individuality and looks at the child as a holistic person with all different sides to their being and sees the child as an individual. And there's not really a one-size-fits-all approach, which can be found in a lot of Montessori programs. So I encourage you to do a lot of research on your programs, but again, most importantly, choose a program that is safe, and loving and focuses on empathy and relationship and respects your needs and wishes as a parent. Good luck. You can follow me on joinwholeheart.com.